Hello and welcome to Pharma Television News Review here at Biopharma America in Boston. On this show, I have Christelle Dagoneau, who is Director of Business Development and Marketing at a company called PX Therapeutics in Grenoble, France. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Christelle, tell us about PX Therapeutics. It's a company that's just about 10 years old. What is the focus of your business?
So we are a CRO and CMO company, meaning that we are selling R&D and biomanufacturing services to pharma and biotech companies. Basically, we help them to develop their biological product, recombinant protein and monoclonal antibody, from R&D up to clinical stage.
Right. So, clearly the whole process of developing protein-based therapeutics, as you say, is complex because you've got to get the early stages right, be able to get a proper protein expressed. So the early stage research that you do, is that really focused on trying to optimize the expression systems, or are you actually involved in the drug discovery process itself?
Actually, it can be both. We are most of the time only involved in the development of the process. But on some cases, we can also help our clients to optimize their gene of interest, their sequence, by modifying the protein and so generating some IP on it. But that's only a few cases. Most of the time, our clients come with a sequence, a gene or cDNA, and we start most of the time from scratch, and we develop all the first, we benchmark the expression system, we select the right one, bacterial, mammalian, etc. And then from here we develop a production and purification protocol, either for only research grade applications or for large-scale pharmaceutical applications, so programs will be different.
Sure. So one of the areas that you were strong in beginning was really in bacterial expression systems. They're not easy to deal with, so you can overcome issues like solubilization of the proteins and so forth and refolding of the protein in a natural state. Is that part of your expertise?
Yes, that's actually our main expertise. Most companies know us for our expertise in E. coli, so bacterial expression, with so specific expertise in the refolding, because we know that half proteins we're working on are produced as inclusion bodies, so you need to solubilize them and to refold them, and that's a very tricky part of the process. So that's where we've got very good scientists, but also on the side of bacterial expression, we also do mammalian cell culture, and we are working in overexpression system. So today it's half-half, I would say, in the company, bacterial, mammalian systems.
Right. And the type of clients that you have, are they tend to be biotech companies, or do large pharmaceutical companies come to you as well?
Again, it's both, but usually we do not come for the same type of projects. So we are working with small and medium biotech company and virtual one for, I would say, the whole development program. So most of the time, those companies, they come with nothing, a gene, a sequence, and we work with them during 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, to develop, to perform all the steps of their project, so feasibility study to choose the right expression system, process development to develop a process which will be scalable at some point, to develop all the analytics, and then to perform the preclinical and clinical manufacturing for phase 1 to 2 clinical trials. So that's really for biotech companies who do not have any research lab and
Sure.
who are seeking our support. For pharma companies, it's different because usually they have their own manufacturing capacities. So what we do research contract where they come with plenty of different candidates to explore. And just as an example, we can handle up to 10 or 20 candidates at the same time, and we can have a 6-month program where, again, we start from scratch, 20 genes, where for some they can need some optimization. We do the molecular biology, the development of protocol, and at the end we can provide batches of 20 milligrams of protein, for example, of the 20 candidates. Those batches are used by the pharma company to do proof of concept in animals. And when they've got a hit, usually they do the process development and the manufacturing in-house. That's really how it works.
Right. And, one of the things about doing making proteins, of course, is post-translational effects like glycosylation and so forth. Have you got all the techniques to overcome those issues?
I mean, in terms of techniques, so here we're talking about mammalian cell expression. So the idea is really to try to find the right system which will allow the right profile of glycosylation. And then, so we've got all the analytical either in-house or we've got partners to analyze glycosylation profile, for example. But then if, for example, our clients need some pegylation or, we can also interface with other company who owns technology to improve glycosylation properties. So we are experts in production and purification and analytics, but then if there is another technology required, we'll just interface to incorporate it.
Right. So that's an important point you're making, particularly in the degree of purification. So production is one thing, then purification to pharmaceutical grade, you have that capability.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And do you have examples of proteins or peptides that you've produced which are now commercially developed, or is it?
Not commercially, because we've started, the company is 10 years old.
Sure.
We've started with the development of biopharmaceuticals in 2004. Before that, it was more protein for R&D applications. So now, anyway, we've been working on a lot of biopharmaceutical candidates. So the one which are the most advanced are in phase 1, where results have been obtained and are about to go to phase 2. Right. So that's the most advanced. And right now we've got proteins in phase 1, in preclinical, in process development.
Okay.
But not commercial.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No. And what's the business model? Are you purely a service-based company, or do you take a royalty on future sales of the product as well? How does the business model actually work?
Yeah, fee for service, 100%, because actually that's what most of our clients requires. They want to remain, the owner of what we develop for them. So, and it's really understandable. We put our expertise for the development of those biopharmaceuticals. We are paid for this, but then our clients, they own the process that have been developed and they can exploit it, and we do not get any royalties. There's been a few cases where it was different, but it's really very, very few cases.
Right.
But in terms of business model, we do fee for service, but we also on the side do R&D collaborative program. So it's another way to work with some clients sometimes.
Okay. And in terms of building your business, you're currently based in Grenoble, but you're doing two things, as I understand it. One is you've got a presence here in the US, but also you're about to launch your new manufacturing facility in mammalian cells. Do you want to tell us about both those events?
Okay, so first, the setup of a new manufacturing unit. So we've got the first one since 2004. So this one was dedicated to bacterial and yeast expression. And so years after years, we've been working on proteins expressed and antibody expressed in germ cells and, mammalian cells. So it made sense to us to create a new facility. So it's going to be, it's set up at the moment, it's being equipped, it's going to be audited by the end of the year, and so we shall have our first campaigns by the end of 2010. So that's the first thing. So it's going to be a small-scale production unit as the first one, so 100 to 200 liter, but it's enough for preclinical, phase 1 campaigns, and also for niche market, because it's another area that we're targeting. Right. And for the development in the United States, so we've opened an office, so it was 2 years now, in Boston, in Cambridge, and we are coming here quite often. And the idea is that we've had American clients for years now, and we really feel that we have something to bring to American clients. Very good science, specific small-scale capacities, really the opportunity to have only one partner to do everything from R&D to clinical stage manufacturing, and that's not always the case in all in all the other CRO or CMOs. So it makes sense to us to develop our position here.
Okay. And finally, when we look at the industry at the moment, particularly the biotech industry, it's not exactly the best time for biotech companies. From your perspective and building the business, are you still getting lots of business coming through from both biotech companies and pharma companies in the current climate?
Yeah, actually, it's true that it's difficult. I mean, selling R&D and phase 1, phase 2 manufacturing services, it's a very difficult activities, and all CROs, CMOs shall say the same.
Sure.
Anyway, there is a need for companies like ours, so even if it's not easy every day, if we disappear, there will be a lack of expertise somewhere, because there are biotherapeutics which are being developed and which needs expertise, and there is not so much expertise, you know, in the field. So yes, it's difficult, but anyway, there are projects, they try to find funding, and so they become our clients. So years after year, we develop the company. And we hope that we'll still be doing
but
that.
I mean, I suppose one of the part of the reason for the question is that there's a temptation for you to take some risk with the project. So with some of these companies wishing to take things forward, do you get your clients or potential clients coming to you and saying, well, can you do some manufacturing for us, but share some of the risk and the cost?
Usually, if they propose to share risks, meaning that they are ready to give us some parts of you know, their property, their products, and most of the time they prefer to pay and to remain the you know, entire owner of the product.
Sure.
So usually it's not it's not this way, and that those projects are handled.
Christelle Dagoneau, thank you very much indeed for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.